First of all, great to be on this panel and with two wonderful co-panelists, Brian and Roshan. So really, I was looking forward to this evening. First of all, agree with Brian. I think a long and hard reality check needs to be done by all of us at all levels. Having said that, Procam's business is slightly different. We own certain intellectual sporting property, and that pans out during the year. We realized about a year ago that we're very heavily dependent on the physical aspect of our events. Tens of thousands of people coming together, celebrating together, running together, and the related ancillary functions around it. So we have been actually working for the last 6 months more specifically, but a little more than that in generally, as to how to take our business, which is so physical, which is so brick and mortar, into something which is more digital, more engaging, more connected. And we have started making, plans to actually engage with our consumer base, which is not just a runner, but the active lifestyle person on a 365-day basis. What this basically means is that we are moving to the online space in a very big way. We're moving to the digital space in a very big way. And we're moving into something that whereby our physical events are of course there, but the digital kind of front end or the digital life of the company takes its own shape and life. Fortunately, this was happening since the last few months. So this transition for us, we've actually had a chance to put that much more energy. We had a big event coming up in May. Yes, we've had to postpone that to later in the year. And God willing, we are on a wing and a prayer that we will be able to do that. We're in touch with the international stakeholders, the Indian athletic stakeholders. And so far it looks that yes, it is possible to do this event later in the year. So it has opened up time for us. It has got our teams working on speeding up the process of making us a more connected online digital company than we ever have been. Yes, there's no question of letting any employee go, no question. But yes, we've had to put in place significant salary cuts. And I must say the team at Procam have been wonderful in understanding that, because we want to retain each and every employee and we want to retain it for the long term. The 4 big marquee events that we do, they are in any case, they were spread out into October, December, and January, if I take the financial year, which is April to March. So to this, we've had to add Bangalore, which is another very big physical event we do called the TCS World 10K Bangalore. So we'll have to now club this into that quarter or into that 4-month segment, and probably do 4 international or 4 big events in that time period. As far as, our business is slightly different. It's not that we do week-to-week events and week-to-week invoicing. So it is about, unlocking the value from these IPs in the best possible way. So these events have been planned. 3 of them stay on schedule so far. And the 4th one, which was to happen in the month of May, has now been pushed back to the last quarter of this year. First of all, I think Roshan and Brian have addressed it from their perspective. Our perspective has been a little different because our industry and journey has been different. When we started the Mumbai Marathon, the Tata Mumbai Marathon, for example, there were a handful of runners in India. India had no more than about 30,000 runners. Today, and we had about 2.5 events in the country. Today, India has 2.2 million active runners. What was 2.5 events in 2003 and 2004 when the first marathon took place is now 1,600 running events across the country. Why am I saying this? We have been so focused in delivering and building these large scale city events that we have actually missed many opportunities to actually leverage these large scale events. So today, when we talk about business transformation at Procam, it's a very different thing. It's It's about how do we leverage this entire universe of active living that has come into play, which was not there into play 18 years ago when we started with the marathons. So today it's so wonderful. We actually seeing it as an opportunity to say, great, God willing, our events will come back. Of course, that's the number one thing, and they have to come back. But there were 100 different things, 100 different facets of interaction, leveraging, engaging, making commerce, making transactions with a universe that we have been pioneers in growing. So we're actually doing business transformation and making our events to accommodate and to leverage on all of this. For us, how do we move up? How do we take our attention in becoming a bigger value partner for our sponsors? How do we actually stop selling them anything but servicing them in a better way? So I think it's interesting. I think each industry is slightly different, and I think that's the good thing of having diverse people on a panel. But for us, there are many, many things which we just, couldn't attend to because we're just delivering and getting our events to be bigger, which we're now looking at. And by the grace of God, if this pans out in any reasonable, and I cannot hazard a guess because we pray that it pans out faster, and there is a vaccine that kind of, helps us to get back to a new normal very quickly. I think a lot of us are going to come out stronger, including the Bryans and the Roshans of the world. They're going to come out stronger because there's a huge leveraging opportunity there. Very quickly, one is to conserve cash. We don't know, and that's not because it's just the prudent thing to do. It's just because there's so much unpredictability into when this thing kind of becomes a new normal. Second is up the value chain in terms of your interaction with your client and customer base. You will have to start servicing them more than selling to them. So I would just think that kind of transformation needs to happen. If you need to kind of stay, just conserve cash, up the value addition that you bring to your client, and start focusing more on how you're going to give him or her, the client, the tools that they need to get back to where they were.